Thank you all for joining this session and events. And today's my topic is the science behind a recommendation system. And this use Azure Machine Learning. And this is for everyone, as this session is introductory and overview kind of session. The main aim of this session is to provide you a conceptual flavor of Azure Machine Learning and one kind of the algorithm like recommendation system, so you can apply this idea in your own time on your own data without any knowledge of data science or maths. So this is for everyone can start using Azure Machine Learning Designer and can start producing machine learning solution within a half day or a day. So myself, I am Alpa Budhpati. I'm working as a Azure consultant at Cluster Reply, and here is my contact information if you like me to join. I would like to give a little bit information regarding the Cluster Reply. It's a Microsoft partners, and it's working on integration services. So if any one of you would like to join, because we are looking at the moment cloud, Azure cloud architecture and Azure cloud engineer or DevOps engineer. So if you are interested, then please feel free to join us on LinkedIn. So yeah, let's move into today's agenda. So this today we are following three sessions. In first session, we are going through like what is machine learning, what is Azure machine learning, why we need Azure machine learning, and quick tour of the Azure machine learning using the Visual Azure portal. The second part is the recommendation system. Here we are going through what is the recommendation system, type of the recommendation system, how they works, and the list of application or use cases they are using the recommended system at the moment. And then we deep diving into demo for a movie recommendation system. So stay tuned with me and let's start with what is a machine learning. Machine learning is nothing, it's just like a computer program or system and that can learn from experience. And they get experience on a data or example. So we give them a proper data and based on that data, machine learning try to find a patterns and from experience and then able to make a prediction for a future. And this they do without telling them explicitly to do this way, like rule based way, without telling them they do that. So also we can say that machine learning system is a subset of AI system, artificial intelligence system, which do mimic of human behavior. And we can say around us there are so many application or websites or techniques they are using the recommendation system nowadays. For example, we can say a recommendation system because we are going through that today. So this is the application of machine learning. And recommendation system use machine learning. And for example, we can say like Spotify, Netflix, like any like you named and you can't say that they are not using like Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon, online product recommendation. They all use the recommendation logics to recommend or predict item for users. So here I'm just would like to give you very basic terms for a machine learning. There are a lot of, but this is very basic and very easy one. So we can say machine learning need a data. It need a huge data. But here I just give you a sample data of a five data set of five rows, five items, and four columns. So here we can say that the column first, second, and third, they are input parameters or features or parameters which help machine learning to find a patterns. Based on this parameter or input features, machine learning will try to find out a patterns. and it predicts the output. Here output is price, which is which calls target. And here we have divided our training set data set into two parts: training data and test data. So training data we'll use to train our machine learning solution or algorithm or model. And once we are happy with the prediction, we do a try to use it for testing purpose. And in testing purpose, we are not providing a target column or output column or label column. So here we have removed that from last two rows. So now once we deploy this machine learning algorithm or solution, it should predict the proper output or target for a test data. Here we have a last two row, and it will or it should predict proper output for our price for a fourth and fifth row. Generally, we have a huge amount of data, and we need a huge amount of data to do a machine learning algorithm or solution. But here I have just to give you a sample of five rows. So yeah, so now let's move into what is Azure Machine Learning. Azure Machine Learning is like it's a machine learning, but we use on a Azure cloud. So we can say that it's a cloud-based service for creating and managing machine learning solution in very quickly and without spending much time or resources buying hardware or installing software or like that. It has already meant in Azure Machine Learning service. So here we have an overview of Azure Machine Learning. So it has a designer view. This is for anyone who don't know machine learning, data science or maths. It's like a drag and drop interface. Without writing any single line of code, you can create or model, you can prepare your data and model and deploy it in a cloud and publish to consume for other application or other user without writing a single line. We will see this one in today's demo. Next one is automated ML. This one also, you don't need any kind of knowledge regarding maths or science or data science or algorithms. This will, you just need to provide your input data set and you need to provide them target matrix, what is your expectation, and tuning parameters. So based on metrics, sometimes they will find a tuning parameters itself. So this automated machine learning work for you and it will find out the best model on your given data and with a target matrix. So it generate algorithm or solution for you without doing any kind of hardware, and it's do very quickly. So we can deploy this model into production environment, or we can use it and do more changes and then we deploy it. So this is a very good features in Azure machine learning. Third one is notebooks. Now here you need a knowledge of programming, Python, data science, and machine learning. Like all kind of experience you needed here if you would like to start from notebooks, because it uses the Python SDK and it's a coding. We are typing here coding, and based on that it will uh, produce the output or predict the output. So I would say you shouldn't go. This is not a first option to start machine learning, but first designer and automated. First two options are very good for anyone who like to start machine learning. So here, in a portal, Azure portal, in machine learning service, we can create following objects. We will see later on today's demo. So here is a process, like Azure Machine Learning follow the process, which is register the data. So here we need to register our data set, or we can use predefined data set. They are available in our Azure Machine Learning or Azure Machine Learning portal. So once we have a data, we need to select a model, and we need to train our model on a data. So then we need to move to train model. Once we have happy with output of train model, then we need to move into next model, which is evaluation model. So in evaluation step, it will evaluate the output and it will say how good is our model. If this model is not that much good, then we need to start again. We need to modify or prepare our data again, and then we need to train again, and then we need to evaluate again. So this cycle will fully do again and again, unless and until we find the accurate output or a predicted output based on our requirements, and then we can deploy our models. Then we can deploy this model in cloud. So for designer view and automated ML, these four steps we can do without writing any single line of code, and it's just a clicking on button, and it's very quick. We can produce a model or Azure machine learning solution within a half day or a day. So I would like to recommend you to try this on your data set. So now here we moving into tour. I would like to give you a tour of Azure Machine Learning Designer, because it has the main assets. These five are the main assets, and we can see that one in about here. We can see that one in machine learning. So for that, you need to go to your Azure portal and create a machine learning service. And then after you launch that, you can see that you will see the solution this interface. So here you can see that you can create notebooks or other objects like pipeline and data set and other stuff. You can start with notebooks, but it's not for someone very new to machine learning. So I recommend to start with designer or AutoML. So let's see what it has. So it has assets. So like asset, it has a data set. It has experience, experiments, pipelines, model, and endpoint. These are the five main assets which help us to create a machine learning solution. So let's start what it has in data set. So data set, we can create our data set from here, and we can just, if we have Excel file, then we can just Excel or CSV file or JSON file, we can just browse it from here, and we register that as our data set. We can use data store as well for SQL server or no SQL data kind of data store, or we can browse it from web. So for example, here we just need a URL of a data set which is publicly available, and we can create that one, or we can use open data source. So that is a data set. For example, I have available data set here. So you can see that here you can consume it by just copy code. So you need to use this code into your notepad environment to consume this data set without writing any code. You can use same code. You can explore this. So here you can see what features or what columns or rows available in your data set. And you can modify as well here if you like to modify, and it will generate a new version of your data set. And then you can see which model is using this data set. But at the moment, I don't have anyone which using this data set. And we can unregister it. If we don't need any data set, then we can unregister it. So it will remove the reference from the data set from here. So next one is experiments. So experiment is like projects. So like for example, I have two pipelines, two experiments. So one is for training and one is for inference, like deployment. So next we see pipelines. Pipelines is nothing but it's just like a step by step flows like data preparation, selecting models, score models, evaluation model, all in a step by step. We'll see later on today. And then we have models. Model will be it's like model. When we publish our pipeline, it will generate a model and it's stored under this area. So at the moment I have a one specifically for my demo. So this I have a published and deployed my pipeline, inference pipeline. So that's why it generated a model automatically for me, and it comes into this step. And next one is endpoint. So once we deploy, it will generate endpoints. So you can see that I have this one for a demo purpose. I deployed my pipeline, so that's why it has generated a endpoints for me, and this endpoint is available for everyone on internet who have access. They can use this endpoint and they can test in their own applications, or we can use in just a Postman, or we can use in any way. And there are here is URL as well. We can just use this URL, and here we can see how to consume it. So if you taste it, here you have a simple data which generate automatically for us, and here we have a consume. So here we will have a simple code, like how to consume our model by another application. So it has a code in a C# code. You can see it has a code in a Python and R. Three different way we can consume it. And this is automatically generated. We don't need to do anything in a designer view. So yeah, that is the endpoint. And then it has a compute, which is like hardware, IO, and memory. All it we just need to create a compute cluster without buying any hardware or anything. We just need to create our cluster, and it will create our cluster within a few minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes. It create clusters for our requirements, and if we don't need it, we can stop it. So we only charge if we use it. Otherwise, it is free to have it. And here I have a inference release cluster, which I created for my release pipeline. So data store is, we can register here data store. And if we would like to, otherwise when we deploy it, it will automatically generate data store for us, and it's stored in here. And labeling, it's a separate features, but we are not covering into this session. It's like just make a label, create a label for you. So like, for example, we have an image database and we don't know label, then it will try to do labeling of each and every image by themselves. And link service, when we are using like Azure Data Factory and Synapse Analytics or any other services in here, then we need to create a link. So yeah, so I just would like to show you how to create a pipeline. So like we say create new pipeline, and yeah. So for creating new pipeline, we need to create first our target, compute target. So that one we can just click here, and we can choose it, or we can select it by this way. So if we don't have it, we can create new, and we can select, and we can give name, and we can click here. So it will create a target for us, but I have already, so I don't want to create at the moment, but you can do for yourself. So once you create compute target, this warning will go away, and then here you can see we have a data set. So I have a two data set which I have registered for myself, but you can use available sample of 16 data sets. So here we have a 16 data set available for different purpose, like predicting weather, predicting image detection, for predicting rating for restaurant, and so many. So, and if you like your own data set, you can just add here by, as I showed you earlier, you just register your data set. So it will come in this section. So that is a data set. And then you can see that here you have so many other options. For example, data transformation. So data transformation will help you to cleanse your data, to remove duplicates of data, convert some values, and select particular columns. There are so many options is available here. So like select columns in data set. So if you have a 5 columns and you need only 3 columns, you can use this activities, and you can use split activities. We will see later on today. So that is the data transformation. And we have so many other options, like we have our available algorithms is here. We can use Python language if you like. We can use our language, and we have other available algorithms for compute and reason recommendation we are using today, and anomaly detection and many more. So for example, let's start something, like how to create start something, uh, flight delay. So we just need to use here data, and we can see output here that what data it has contained. So you can see that it has a file delay data set has so many columns. And here this feature will tell you is delay, cancel, or delay, or that kind of thing, prediction. And we can see how many columns they have and how many rows they have here. So once we have a data set, we can try to add something, like here we can say select a column, or yeah, so you can see here you have a select column. You can just drag and drop, and you need to select column, but let's see, you can join like this way. And here, as we saw earlier, they have 14 columns. So now we need only few columns, for example, years and months, and one more is career. Okay, so we need only 3 columns, then we can choose that one. So it will select. So here we have now 3 columns. So if we see that one in a, we can see it in a we can use in a later on, like that. So now once we have a data set, we can use a split, or split our data set, or maybe we can use for remove duplication. So if we click on remove, we can drag and drop here, and we need to say based on which column. So I just say based on a year. So what they will do, this activity will remove the duplication in our data set. So now we need to drag and drop here. So by this point now we have data preparation is ready. So we can move into split. So there are all activities here. You can use a split your data, and here there are few methods. You can choose which one you like. So here I have just used split rows, but you can use regular expression or relative expression based on your data and requirements. And here 0.5 means we said 50-50. So 50% of data for testing and 50% of data for training. So generally people do 70 and 30. So for that I just need to say 0.7. So that means 70% data for testing, and once model is ready, 30% data model used for testing purpose. So for example, here I have 1,000 of records, then it divided into 2 parts. 50-50 means 500 for training and 500 for testing. So yeah, so once you have a splitted 2 data set, you can have more information, like you can choose model, or you can choose like if we have here, or we can use like select anything, like here we have Python application and like Python activities there. So we can use that one, if we know the code. Otherwise, so this way we can create models step by step. So like I will show you in later on today, but I thought it would be good to give you little bit overview. So I don't want to save that one. And one more thing I would like to say is, see here, you can see they have inbuilt algorithm ready, and you can use it available. So for example, if you like to, let's have a basic example. Uh, Mm, let's start with classification. Okay, so you can see once you click that one, you have all step available. You don't need to do anything except you need to select your compute target. You have to have compute target to run your model. So here you have to choose your target and then you save it. Then it will ready for you. And here is a design. So this model will help you to predict. I think it's image classification. So it will classify that it's a cat or dog, or it's like similar kind of image classification it will do for you. So here it has everything is ready for you. You don't need to do anything. And if you like to use this algorithm for your image classification, then you just need to change your data set. And you need to see that trend is working as per your expected, and then you can publish it and it's ready to available as a production solution. So that one, and I think now I would like to go back to our slides. So yeah, so why we need Azure Machine Learning? As we know that today data is overwhelming on internet, so that's why we need something which is more powerful. So Azure Cloud is powerful and it help you to provide infrastructure, ready-made algorithms as you see earlier. So it save your times and it click model for you very easily without creating any extra installation or any extra deploy any environments for the deployment. So that's why Azure Machine Learning is very good if we use for creating our machine learning solution. And if we don't use a cloud technology like Azure, then we have to create our own hardware, GPU and CPU, and then we have to install our software on that. And each and every time we have to write down separate codes for training purpose and deployment purpose. So that's why I think Azure Machine Learning is good to start your machine learning solution. So this is so far we have finished and covered the first part, which is Azure machine learning and machine learning. Now we are moving into second part, which is a recommendation system. So what is a recommendation system? It's a very simple to say, and we earlier said that it is a type of the machine learning, and it helps us to find a similarity between items or a users, and it uh, suggests or related ad product to a user. They might like it, they might buy it, or they're interested in it. So goal of the recommendation system is to predict or recommend a relevant item to an individual user. Recommendation system do this recommendation based on our user profile, or when we search something in browser, like we browser in a computer, in laptop, or in mobile. When we search something or we view something or we like something, they remember our choice, and based on that, behind the scene they try to find out a best fit for our requirements. So it may be movie, it may be the insurance which fit in our requirements, it may be in a clothes we like, or it may be a books we like to read. So it's what it do behind the scene, it just search for us content that we might be like it or we interested in. So here I have a simple example for in my case is movie recommendation system. So like for example, I have a movie recommendation system. So now it needs to have a data. So like we have a two data set. One is a user data and one is item data. Also, just I would like to tell you that recommendation system need two kind of data: user data and item data. So user data is nothing but it has like user who have liked, buy, or watched any items. For example, movie or books or anything, news articles which they have read it and they like it. So it has like user ID, item ID, and ratings. And item data has information related to item. So here it has item is movie, but in other scenario it can be a book, or it can be a weather, or it can be a news. So it has item ID and item title, and it has extra information. But two main things we needed in here is item ID and item title. So here I can say I have a rating data set and I have movie data set. So now I have give two inputs. I give the inputs to a recommendation system, and based on this input, it will recommend a movie to me, and it's based on me or anyone who use this system, recommendation system, and it predict this based on two things. It match similarity in item to item, or it find a similarity in user to user. It find a similar user in similar taste, and it recommend a movie which user hasn't watched earlier. So it predicts a movie for me or any users. So Netflix is using this model. YouTube also using this model to predict or recommend videos, or recommend movies or TV shows, or Google is using to recommend news articles. So here is next question. Why recommendation system are needed? As we know that today data is increased exponentially, growing so fast. So like data is like overwhelmed. We have a lot of choices, and it's very difficult to select particular without knowing any knowledge. So that's why we need a system which filter the information for us, and that's why the recommendation systems comes into picture. It do a filter information for us, and it's beneficial for both service provider and end user. Service providers revenue will increase and enhance because of this recommendation system, and for end user they get very quickly items which they like it, or they might buy it, or they're interested to read it. So next is still is the same continuous in recommendation system, why we need it. So here is a question. Do we know which product are likely to buy a particular product? Which movie to suggest to a people which they enjoy? And which author to suggest to a people which they like to read? No, because as I said earlier, data is usually exponential growing. So it's very difficult someone manually find out which user I should suggest which book or which movie. That's why recommendation systems comes into picture, and it help both, as I said, service provider and end user. So now I would like to move into next point, which is a type or approach of recommendation system. There are so many types are available, but I would like to share a few, like top four, which at the moment using. It's a common for everything. So first one is popularity based algorithm, which is give a kind of the generalized idea. Next one is a content based filtering and collaborative based filtering and hybrid. These are the personalized. They do based on individual, based on recommendation. So let's move into popularity based algorithm and how it works. So popularity based algorithm is like it's follow the principle, and it's do the popular algorithm, like most popular algorithm or items they suggest you. So this algorithm is very simple, because what it do, it will find out the how many people are watching. It's find accounts of particular like which movie is watched by most of people, highest people. So it or read by many people, most people, and or it rated by many people. So it find out the count, and then it rank them in descending order, and then it take top 5 or top 10 to users. So it's give you to all users, it's give that. So it's give you general information, not an individual user. So here we have example Google. Google is using that popularity based algorithm to filter your news, which news are in most popular and in trend. They are suggesting that news to you for all users, not individual users. Similarly for YouTube also suggesting a trending videos. So here are I have show you like basic examples. Like we all seen that what Netflix suggests top 10 today's video or top 10 today's movie. Behind the scene, they're using the popularity based algorithm and they suggest you, and it's for now. So this can be changed in a daily or maybe in hourly, but it will showing trend so far now. So here you can see it give you based on your region as well, based on your language, based on your region, based on your type, like you are kids or elder. Based on that, it will recommend you top 10 or top 50 items which you might like it or which is very good for you or you enjoy it. Similarly, Google also used for recommending the most read books. So as we know now that it's provide a general chart or general idea of recommendation and recommend to all users. It's not doing personalization. So we need to move into another algorithm, which is a content-based filtering. So content-based filtering will find out the similarity between content based on your past data. For example, you have read book and that book is like autobiography kind of book. So recommendation system will try to find out the similarity between content. So like for example, you have read a book which is a autobiography and that book has a non-fiction book and you know author as well. So based on few similarity or few sentence in that book, they will try to find out similar book for you based on that content. So, and they will say, hey, you like this autobiography book, so you might like this book as well because this is also autobiography and you will enjoy it because most people also like that. Okay. So for movie, so movie has content is like overview, cast, crew, keywords, taglines, and many more contents like directors, locations, kind of thing. So based on that, it will try to find out similar movie based on this content, like another movie which is have a same similar overview or similar cast or similar director, and they will recommend you. Here they first try to find out that, and then they will try to match most likely to similar, and then they recommend you. So that is the content based filtering. So here I have examples of that. So like I have my friend Lena like to watch a baby drive movie. So recommendation system knows that Lena likes this kind of movie because she has watched earlier. So what they will do behind the scene, they will try to find out similar movie which is similar like overview is similar like Baby Drive. So they will try to find out another movie. There are so many movies, but out of that, most likely they will order it in a descending order, and they will pick few of them. So one of them is Drive movie. So now algorithm knows that Drive movie is similar to Baby Drive movie. So algorithm thinks Lina might like this or she will enjoy to watch Drive movie. So that's why it recommends Drive movie to Alina. So that's way it content based filtering works. So here I have one more examples like Lena. Now Lena has watched Batman versus Superman. She gave a rating 2, and this movie's content and this movie is a kind of adventure and superhero movie. It seems like she don't like this movie, this kind of movie. So another one she watched is Guardian of Galaxy. She rated it 10, and it's kind of comedy, adventure, superhero, and sci-fi movie. So it seems like Lena liked this kind of movie. She watched one more, which is Captain America Civil War, and this is a kind of comedy and superhero movie. So based on a second and third movie, they think algorithm thinks that Lena like comedy and superhero kind of movie. So now algorithm will try to find out similar taste, and they rate those movie, and they will find out which movie they should suggest. So out of these last three movie, algorithm will suggest Guide to Galaxy, because it is a comedy, adventure, and sci-fi. So they will first do rating to those movie. So they rate it like this way, and then they will select the highest one, most rated one. So here, out of this last three movie, most rated one is Guide to Galaxy, because it's comedy and sci-fi movie and adventure as well. So they will suggest Lena to watch Guide to Galaxy movie. So this is a conceptual of content-based filtering. So here we have one problem. Content-based filtering only and only works if you have a past history, past data, history data. Like for example, earlier Lena has watched that movie, or Lena has read some books, or Lena likes something. If they algorithm know about that, then and then they can recommend you. Otherwise, it give you a cold start problems, because main requirements for content based filtering to predict accurately is history data. So we have to select another algorithm for that if our data don't have a if we don't have a history data of a user. So now we are moving into collaborative filtering. These algorithms are most mature and most commonly used and implemented by most of the platforms. This algorithm works based on similarity between users. Based on based on similarity between users, they will find or recommend items to users. Here I have examples as well that who using this algorithm. So it's like Google, YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and so many. So by now we can say that collaborative filtering is doing something, and based on that and find a recommendation. So we can say that if two users have a same opinion about a bunch of products, they have likely to have a same opinion about others too. So based on this principle, they will try to find out a similar user, and based on that they will suggest you items or products which you haven't brought it, or you haven't buy it, or you haven't watched it, or you haven't read it. So here we can how it works. So like it use the purchase history. When we buy something, it use that purchases, or when you browse something, remember that what we have browsed, like insurance or movies, or we search for books or news articles, or we click somewhere in the internet, or we have reviewed it, or we have rated something. Based on that, behind the scene, collaborative filtering will work, and we don't know about that because it's too in hidden way. So once collaborative filtering filters for our requirements, it suggests us, hey, you like these items, so you will love this item because another user has liked which you like, and another user has something else extra as well. So I would like to recommend you. They will recommend you that. For example, you have read a book, autobiography books, and another user also had read autobiography books, and another user has read similar kind of other books which is not autography one, but it's like non-fictional book, another non-fictional book. Then they will suggest you because you and another user are similar in taste. So it suggests you the item which you haven't read it. So here they will give you another non-fiction book, which is not a recommended autobiography kind of book, but which is a separate books which you might like it because your taste and another user taste are similar. So, and also you can see that sometimes they will say, hey, if you have brought this, you need this. Like for example, you have brought iPhone and another user have brought iPhone and another user has brought chargers. So something like that, based on that, they will say, oh, this user has brought iPhone plus charger. So you might need charger as well because you and another user are similar because you both have brought iPhone and you might need a charger as well. So they will suggest a charger for us. So like that way the collaborative filter works. It finds the similarity between a taste of different users, another users. So here I have examples. So we can see we have two users. But in real life, it's a so many users. It's not only two users similarity. They will find so many users and then they make them order in descending order. They give them rank and then based on top 5 or top 10, they will pick for us. So here we have a two users, Lina and Ben. So like Lina usually buy a pizza and Coke, and algorithm also knows based on data that Ben also like to buy pizza and Cokes. So now algorithm knows that Lina has brought French fry or chips, and algorithm also knows that here Lina and Ben are similar in a kind of taste. So they will recommend French fry or chips to Ben because they are similar in taste. So this way recommendation system works, but it don't have a two users. It have a many users. But here I have just to give you example of two users. So now is a question quiz time. So here you can see that we have a movies in a columns. We have 5 movies and we have a 4 users. Also we can see that some users have rated those movies and some not all users have rated those movies. So like user third would we need to recommend something to user third. So we need to find out user third is similar to which user. So based on our rating data, we can say that user 3 is similar to user 1, first user. So based on that, there are 2 movies left, which is The Dark Knight Rises and Memento. So based on this, it will suggest The Dark Knight Rises because it has rated 4. So instead of picking the last movie, they will suggest The Dark Knight Rises because they think that user 3 is similar to user 1 and user 1 hasn't watched The Dark Knight Rises and they might like it and they enjoy it. So now we move into last filtering algorithm, which is hybrid filtering algorithms. So it is a combination of techniques. It may be collaborative filtering and content-based filtering or popularity-based filtering, any one or all of three. And this is Netflix is using hybrid model as well. So now the question is how they works. By now we know that recommendation algorithm will try to find out similarity between items or similarity between users or similarity between content or popularity base. So we can say that it needs 3 main features: user ID, item ID, and ratings. Your user ID is a user who likes something or who bought something or who read something. And item ID is either books, movies, news articles, or anything like some items, products. And rating is they have rated for that one items. So here I just make them in a form of the matrix because they are in a form of the matrix. So like generally they do matrix like movies in columns and users in rows and they have some ratings. And now algorithm will try to find out the ratings which user hasn't rated or it try to find out it's first they try to find out ratings if user haven't rated or missing ratings and then they will try to find out similar users or try to find out similar content or try to find out similar items and based on that they will recommend it. So behind the scene, they use some mathematical calculation, which we don't need to know about that. But I just would like to give you name of the few techniques. So to try to find out similarity between items or users or content, we need a distance matrix. So in maths, there are this is for common technique, but there are so many other techniques also available. So it's Euclidean similarity or Hamming similarity or cosine similarity or Pearson correlation or deep learning, which it's latest, all of them in latest. So they try to use that one. So here I have a simple example. How they do it? They do similar way of any physical object, like how far from London to Northampton, like that way. So here we can see that we represented movies because we have two movies. So we represented that in two dimension. X-axis we have a baby drive movie and Y-axis we have a drive movie. Also we have ratings. Four users has gave rating for two movies. So like we can say 10, 20, then user 2 gave 20 and 40, and then uh, um, oh, sorry. Then it's like I can see here, but yeah, then so they have rated like that way. So we can represent based on their ratings like this way in a dimension and dimension. We have two dimension because we have a two movie. If we have an n movie, then we need to have an n dimension, which is very very complicated and human can't identify it. So that's why we need a recommendation system to do the complex calculation for you, us, and suggest items. So here we can see that they use Euclidean similarities, and based on that, they can say that user 2 and user C and user D are very close. That's why we can say they are similar in a taste. So they then what they do? Then they will suggest a movie to user D or user C, which they haven't watched earlier, and any one of us has watched already. So if you haven't watched or haven't seen earlier, they will suggest to you based on that. So it's a freeze time. So like here we can say that as we earlier know that there are two metrics we needed in recommendation system. For example, we need user data set metrics, and we need item data or item metrics. We will show earlier in the slides. So based on that, can we guess what user metrics and what item metrics this platform are using? For example, Facebook, LinkedIn, Amazon, Netflix, and YouTube. Yes, we can say that in Facebook, users are members and items also members because they are suggesting us friends. So it's find a similar friends and they suggest you, and their friends also members. So they both are members. Both metrics are members here. But in a case of LinkedIn, we can say the user matrix is a member matrix, but items can be different metrics as well. For suggesting job recommendation system, here items is jobs. For post recommendation system, here item is post, and or it can be member, like if it's recommending you members, like you you and one of your friend, you both work in a child, you both study in childhood in a same school, then they will recommend you similar uh, similar student on that school, and they recommend you. So it has a, it's using the different kind of algorithms, three different kind of algorithms. And next we Amazon, we can say we, if we buy something on Amazon website, then we have to be member, or we use as a guest member. So here we can say user metrics is a members, and item metrics can be products like books, electronic items. And Netflix, we can say user metrics is a member again because we need to have a membership to use a Netflix. And item metrics can be like movies because it's suggesting movie for us, or it's suggesting the TV program for us, or anything it suggests, that we can say it's items. And YouTube is like a members. A member is a user metrics and item is videos because it's suggesting videos for us. So here are the list of applications which we can use same ideas or at the moment they are using as well. For example, recommending books. We can use the same ideas which I have today, and we can have a data set for books, and then we can use recommendation system. We can recommend a book which someone might like it and enjoy it reading. Similar to music tracks, news articles, restaurants, future friends like social media sites they have. Or in a case of like course in learning, like they said, you have watched this data science course, you might like new one as well because you haven't watched yet and it's similar to the course which you have seen earlier. Jobs, like you applied for this job, you might like to apply for this job as well because you haven't applied yet and they are similar. Similar for like research paper, investment choice, TV programs, clothing, like you buy this dress, you might like another dress which is similar to that dress. And like dating websites and supermarket goods, like if you buy one fruits, they might think this fruit is similar to that fruits, so they will suggest you another fruit as well. So these are the areas and there are many more. If we have a data, we can use the same kind of algorithms and it works uh, as a recommendation algorithm. So now I would like to move into third point, which is a demo. um, so here, if I see, yeah. So I have already created a recommendation system because it little bit time consuming because once we create it, it need like 10 minutes to create for us compute target, and it need 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to train our model, and also it need 5 to 10 minutes for deploy it. So that's why I have a ready here, I have created that one. So if I go to experiments, you can see that I have two experiments, one for training purpose and one for inference, which is deployment purpose. So if I go to here, also you can see that how many time it's run, it completed, it run for one time and it's completed. Nothing is running at the moment, nothing is failed or cancelled or it's not in progress as well. So let's open this. Yeah. So here you can see that I have used two data sets. I have used this from sample dataset, which I showed you earlier. It's already available in a dataset section. So this is a sample dataset, and you can see if you want to see output, you can see here that what it has. So here we can see that I have a movie ID, user ID, movie ID, rating, and timestamp. I don't need a timestamp, but I will remove later on. So I need these three columns. So here you can say that it has a number of rows. It's quite a lot, but not actual using in Netflix because it's more than this, and it has a 4 columns. Also, we can see based on the data set that more than one same user have rated more than one movies, and so in even here also you can see that, and many movie can be rated by many users, and it may not be rated by anyone, then it's none. That's why we need to prepare our data, we need to cleansing our data if there is a missing value. So this is the one data set uh, which we can say it's like a user data set. And now this is item data set. So item data set has, we can see here outputs, and it has, I have a very minimal outputs, but generally they have many columns and we can remove it if we don't need it. So I can say that I have around 16,000 movies here, and here I have name as well, and here I have ID of that. So we can say column is true. So that is my input data set here, user and item. User and item, yeah. And then now I have a two separate data sets. So I use join operation. What join operation do? If you know the SQL programming, then it's just to do joining based on ID. So here I have a common column is movie ID. So this one will do join based on a movie ID, and it generate data set for us based on two data sets, and based on a movie ID column from left and right data sets. So it's joined two data set based on a common field, which is a item ID, which is a movie ID in here. But in restaurant or other scenarios, you have another IDs. So here I have used a Python script. Is only minimal purpose to make them in order, because recommendation system need a data in a particular order. First order is item ID, user ID, item ID, and rating. So here we are just arranging our columns in order. We can use a Python script, or we can use a select column as well. So next I have remove duplicates, because now I have data which is not in a unique format. There are duplication in a record. So I can remove the rows which are duplicates. But here I need to decide based on which column I need to decide that this is a duplicate rows and I need to remove it. So I have used here movie ID, movie name, and user ID. So based on that, this operation will do remove the duplicate rows. So by this, now we know that my data is ready. Its data preparation is done. So now I need to split my data, as I said earlier, into test set, data set, and training data set. So here I have used the 50.5 means 50-50. 50% of data set for training and 50% of data set for testing purpose. Generally, people use 70% in 30% or 80% in 20%, but I have used 50-50. It depends on us in our data set. So now we have a splitted data set. Now we can select algorithms, and we can train our models on a data set, and we can score it, and we can evaluate it. Here I have used two separate ways. I use it. I score in two ways because I have a choice of two. I can predict data set based on means I can this algorithm will give you ratings if you haven't rated, or it suggests you the movies or products which you haven't watched or read or liked earlier. So that's why I have added two separate lines flows, but you don't need it. In according to your, if your requirements is to just provide ratings, then you can use the right side one. And if you want to recommend something, then you need to use the left side one. And if you want to see both, then you can use both in the same time. So here you can see that this is my training algorithm models. I have just dragged that one from if you from pipelines. As this is in execution mode, I can't select it, but I can show you how to drag this one. So here I'm just passing my day one data set, and this data set is training data set because this model do training on the data. So once it do training, you can see that here I have used output. You can see output as well, because here I have used a parameter of recommendation. I have used a parameter of recommendation. I think it's here. You can see that here. That I have choose a recommender prediction kind. It's a item recommendation. So that's why it's recommend a movie or items for me, or books for me, or any electronics item for me, or any user. And I say that compare from all items. Here you have a choice. You can select for only rated item, or only rated item, or all items which hasn't rated, or all items which rated or non-rated. And here I have choose maximum 5 number fives, because number 5 will give you, this means you have a lot of choices, but how many you need. So it will pick top fives. So here I'm only recommending 5 movies to each users. So that is there, and you can see here output as well. So here you can see user, each user here, and recommended movie. So here are the top 5 movie, because I have choose the 5 to recommend. So here item is a movie, but you can have item as a books, or item as any products. So here they have recommended, uh, for example, user ID 902 user has recommended these 5 movies based on taste of that user. So this is the recommendation movie, and in this side we can see that a I have choose parameter as a rating prediction. So it will predict items. It predict the ratings for users. So here you can see output as well, and output is ratings. So here say that for this movie, this user hasn't watched earlier, and its rating is that. So it's on an average rating. So this 902 user like this movie, Dark City. So that's why they do ratings for ratings, and based on ratings, they will recommend a movie. So that is the recommendation score. So once we're happy with the score, we can evaluate the model and see. Evaluation is nothing but it find out the true and false recommendation. Like how many recommendation have recommended correctly, and how many recommendation is missed that should recommend but they haven't watched recommended yet. So they will see that how accurate our model is based on evolution model. And evolution model will have a matrix for here. We are not going in detail, but here you can see they have some matrix for that, and based on that they will decide that this model is perfect for our data or not. So this is our training pipeline for recommendation movie. So once you train it, you can publish it, and you can deploy it. So once you deploy it, I think I have a deploy pipeline as well. Here you can see I have a deployment pipeline. So once I created another pipelines, and you can see here I have a test completed 2 times. I have ran it 2 times, and nothing has failed. Nothing is not running, and you can see that here is my uh, earlier I have executed that. I have deployed my model. So you can see that this is a deployed model. It will do automatically all step for you once you click on deploy, and behind the scene it generate few files and everything it do for you. And once you publish it, you can see that this model is generate endpoints. This is endpoints which I saw earlier. And for today's uh, demo, and here you can see that it will prepare this for you. You can test it here. It gave you sample data as well, and it give you how to consume if you want to write down your codes. It give you here sample as well, which I have shown you earlier, and it will show you deployments log as well here. So you can see your deployment logs also here, if there is any problems or anything in that. So I think this is end of demo in here. So let's uh, move into presentation. So we have already covered this. Here I just would like to tell you that I have used single value decomposition algorithm, but you can use deep and wide train algorithm as well, which use deep learning, which is nowadays using. So here I have also step as well. If you like to do by in your own data set, you just need to follow the steps. And here you can see just execution pipelines and what it outputs based on your requirements. You may have a separate requirements. Yeah. So now I think this is the end of the session. Thank you for attending this session, and I would like to special thank to Ben and team of the New Stars of Data and Catherine who helped me to prepare this presentation. Thank you all. I'm waiting for if you have any questions, and later on I will share links as well if you like to see. And you can contact me in a LinkedIn if you have any question or you need to start how to do in Azure Machine Learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alpa. That was a great session. I really enjoyed it and really good information. That was so clear. And we have gotten some questions. So if anyone needs to leave, I'll just put this out here that please fill in the feedback. If Ben could just throw that in the chat again. And that is so important for our presenters. And then we can get to the questions now. So we got a question that how much time do you spend proportionally between preparing the data and building the model algorithms?
I think we spend around the 70% of time to preparing the data in any machine learning algorithm, because data is main bone of any machine learning algorithm. So we need to make sure our data is accurate, and we need more data as well. So it takes around 70% or 80% of overall time, and rest of 20% or 30% we do machine learning solution, and release pipelines, or we can release into production. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Thank you. And then the other question here was that is it possible to collaborate with other people on the same thing? Like, is there some kind of source control included or something like this?
Yeah. If you use Notepad, not Azure notebooks or programming solution, then I can show you. You can share your notebooks in your organization, or you can share even output as well, because here you have my user profile, but in my organization have many users. Then I can share that with them if I have not put book solution. For example, here we have a ready-made model as well, I think. Let's see. Oh yeah, if I go to in sample, you can see here we have a tutorials available, and this notebook I can share with anyone, even a third person in internet, uh, and I can share with output as well. For example, I'm opening this one, so this one I can share with them. This is like we can work as a collaborative fashion in how we have in our organization typical projects. And other thing we can use like ML ops. There is other tools which kind of a DevOps tool. So we can use that as a source code, and we can share, and we can work with together, like more than one user can work. Yeah.